when it comes to the winter window especially, because there's two ways to look at it. Of course, I think football fans, and myself included, would want, ambition and kind of you associate with money. You want to see it spent in the right way, and I understand that logic. Is absolutely one way to look at it. The other logic is that you have what ends up being a really good transfer window, say last January, a year ago, and that window had Dejan Kulusevski come in on, I think the remainder of that season part of his loan was about £2.5 million. And Rodrigo Bentancur, who I think is around 15 to 16 million to begin with, could rise to 20, but was payable over 5 years. So even if we're saying that it was paid for at that point, they had a window where they spent 17.5 million in that point, although they technically didn't. It was even cheaper than that, and actually ended up being an absolutely pivotal transfer window. It's just the way it works. It's a strange way. It's a bit different from the summer. The summer, I do think you've got to put money at it. You've got to get player A to, let's say, F. You've got to get loads of different players in different positions to really overhaul a squad. Whereas I think the window in the winter is very much a let's get some key, crucial start players that can start every match if you want them to. Players, like I say, crucial players, and they did that. Even at the time, I remember very clearly probably having a moan about something about also wanting another kind of player. I pretty much do that in every transfer window. But as it turns out, with hindsight, you look back on it, and that was a very good transfer window. It was. He got rid of a lot of the players he didn't want. Numerically, they were worse off, but actually, in terms of a squad balance, they were better off. And I think that's key for this window, is that, I said before, Spurs want to bring in at least 2 new players, and these have to be players that really improve Conte's, I'd say, starting 11. We go over this a lot. We know that starting 11 should technically mean anyone in your squad, because it should be a strong enough level for anyone to come in. And I think that's kind of the point, where you look to improve your starting 11, and that has a knock-on effect. Say a Richarlison. So Richarlison, some people will look at that and say, oh, he's come in, but he's come in as a sub. He didn't. He was playing quite regularly beforehand. And it's that ability to have a player who, on any given day, could be in the starting 11 or he could be on the bench because your squad is improved as a whole. So, yes. So I'd hope that the club are fully aware that they need to make changes this window. They do. There needs to be new additions come in. They need to have a transformative effect as they did a year ago. And if that's the case, I'd imagine Conte would be happy with that. If he feels he can push on with a stronger squad in the second half of the season, then you'd imagine, well, that's job done.